Well, welcome back.
Thank you, Senator.
You obviously have heard some skepticism from this committee today, as you have in the past, about the ongoing mission in Afghanistan. We have accomplished a lot of things there that benefit the Afghan people. You know, they're safer. They have more GDP per capita. They have better education, especially for girls. Those are all great things. We have to worry more, though, about the safety and the prosperity and the education of the American people. So could you just tell us in plain language, you know, what are the American people, what are working folks out in Arkansas getting from more than 15 years of our presence in Afghanistan?
Yes, Senator, thank you for that question and for your support and your service in Afghanistan. Our number one goal is to protect the homeland from any attack emanating from the region. And of course, we have achieved that in the last 15 years. However, we need to stay on top of it because of this confluence of 20 terrorist groups in the region. I believe this is an enduring commitment to keep pressure on these groups and help the Afghans move towards a successful end state. What would that look like? Success might be the maintenance of this enduring counterterrorism effort to keep pressure on these groups. It means that we would destroy Islamic State and Al-Qaeda inside Afghanistan, which is something which we're actively pursuing every day. It means that we would help the Afghan security forces and government to extend their control to a larger and larger percentage of the population. It means that we would help Afghanistan to become ideally a place where reconciliation is achieved with the belligerents, and then they can become a more stable and prosperous entity in a critical part of the world. I recognize the distance of Afghanistan and the length of this has been challenging for the American people to support. However, I personally believe that this effort that we're undertaking there is protecting the homeland and preventing these terrorists from bringing their fight to our doorstep.
If the United States just said, we've had enough, 15 years is long enough, let's just roll up our operation there and come home, do you think that we would face the risk of an attack planned and directed from Afghanistan?
Yes, Senator, definitely.
That's a pretty big success then in our 15 years of operations there.
Yes, Senator.
A year ago, your predecessor, General Campbell, testified about his concern of the role Iran was playing in Afghanistan. Could you give us your view of what Iran has been up to in the last year since he testified?
Iran is directly supporting the Taliban in western Afghanistan. There's a complex relationship between Afghanistan and Iran, and it not only involves security matters like this. Iran is also recruiting Afghan Shia to fight against Islamic State in Syria and Iraq. On the other hand, there are also areas of cooperation between Iran and Afghanistan. Number one would be economic cooperation. The governments of India, Iran, and Afghanistan signed an agreement over the Charbahar port in southern Afghanistan. Actually, this initiative would be very beneficial to Afghanistan in terms of economic development. There's also ongoing conversations about water treaties between Afghanistan and Iran. Iran needs Afghanistan's water. So it's a complex relationship. It has areas of potential synergy and benefit for both parties, but it also has important security equities. And so the Afghan government is raising these issues with the government of Iran and asking them not to support the Taliban and undermine the Afghan government.
Is Iran's support for the Taliban primarily or exclusively located in Herat and Farah, or are they supporting the Taliban throughout the country?
Without getting into a lot of classified material in an open hearing like this, Senator, I'd say it's primarily in the West, but their financial inroads go around the country in the north and in Kabul in particular.
So Iran, which is a Shiite-led government, is supporting a Sunni-led movement, the Taliban in Afghanistan, but recruiting Shiite from Afghanistan to travel to Syria and fight. Seems like a complex act from Tehran, united by a single consideration, which is undermining U.S. interests.
Yes, Senator, I'd agree with that. I think a number of, when we look at Russia and Iranian actions in Afghanistan, I believe that in part they are to undermine the United States and NATO and prevent our this strong partnership that we have with the Afghans in the region. But it is complex, as you point out. They are recruiting Shia. The Afghans are concerned about these Shia fighters returning to Afghanistan at some point, and what will they become a destabilizing factor or not? And this is of great concern to the Afghan government.
Thank you, General. Be safe downrange. Say hi to the troops.
Thank you, Senator.